I'm finally back with that second video I wanted to respond to.
Historical science, I like to swap that word, historical, with interpretation. What is a worldview? It's the lenses through which you view the world around you. And the Bible is confirmed by archaeology, and we see that in the archaeological record. Worldviews have consequences. Archaeology is destructive.
Yeah. Worldviews do have consequences. And the consequences of having a worldview that straight up say that a large portion of the population should be put to death because of the way they feel is a very, very destructive worldview. Oh my god, starting off really, really, really bad. Do you know how much of the population is gay or bi? Because it's a lot of people. It's a lot of people. It's probably like 10% of the population is like, at the very least, attracted to the same gender. Do you understand that would, to kill all of those people would be on the level of genocide? To kill 10% of the population just because a fucking book says in no clear terms that being gay is a sin. It never even says that. The only real part of the Bible that says that, it doesn't say that because it's a fucking translation error.
If you think about it, you're exposing history, and you have to remove it from its context to then study more history.
No, you absolute fucking buffoon. That is not what archaeology is at all. The most important part of archaeology is context. What the fuck? You realize that archaeology isn't just finding a historical artifact and then just taking it elsewhere to test that only, right? We test the context that it was found in too. Oh my god. 24 seconds in. Holy shit.
So let's start with some definitions. What is archaeology? Well, archaeology is the study of ancient mankind, their civilizations, remains, and artifacts.
Not at all. Archaeology isn't just about mankind. Once again, these people want to be so special when they're not. Oh my god. 34 seconds. 34 seconds. Everything this woman has said is wrong. Every single word. Oh my god.
I want you to think of it this way. We have anthropology like an umbrella, which studies mankind in general, and we have archaeology underneath as a subcategory that focuses on ancient man in particular.
Nope. Nope. Not at all. Oh my god, do I have to fucking Google the definition of archaeology? Definition of archaeology. Oh, wait, archaeology. Come on. Fairly certain archaeology is also, like, dinosaur bones also fall under archaeology. Yeah, so she also separated it from recent human past, which is incorrect. Yep. Well, okay. So first of all, not just humans, human ancestors as well, which fall under a different term. Let's see. Is digging Oh, okay. That's my bad. I thought archaeology was a umbrella term for paleontology as well. Okay, so that is my bad. I learned something new. And I will admit that I was wrong, but she was also wrong because she's specifically trying to say that it's very early human activity, which, no, archaeology can be about recent human history as well, digging up recent human history.
Now, both anthropology and archaeology are fields of science. And if you've been through our museum, you've probably come across that there are two types of science that we like to refer to.
Oh, are they? Is this literally the Creationism Museum? Is that where this is being held? Wow, okay.
There's something called observational science, which means it is observable, testable, and repeatable. I like to think of laboratory sciences where you create a hypothesis, conduct an experiment, and then you can then adjust your hypothesis and then reconduct the experiment. And you're in a lot of control, and you can observe what's actually occurring in front of you in real time. This is what we call observational science. Then there's something called historical science, which deals with origins, something.
Okay. So, once again, I want to make clear, when they say observational science as opposed to historical science, they are just splitting hairs between science that they can bullshit their way out of and science that they cannot. I always want to reiterate that, and every time they mention that, because they say observational science is observable, testable, and repeatable. All science is observable, testable, and repeatable. The issue is that what they want, what they're saying they can't bullshit their way out of, is science and specific phenomenon that happen in a short enough time span to the point where we can observe it. And the issue with that is that many things in the universe take way longer than that. They take way longer than we have the capabilities to actively observe it in motion. But the thing is that we can test and observe the after effects of something that happened a long time ago by understanding all of the forces in play and calculating everything down to the very minute details. And the thing is that is just as valid science as the stuff that we can actively observe in a lab. And many of the pieces of that, quote, historical science, how we know historical science, as they say it, is true, is based on smaller things that are based in observable science, as they say it. So I need you to understand, historical science is just a term that they use to say science that they can bullshit their way out of because you can't actively observe it happening. And many things that were once historical science, because we figure out a way to do it on a smaller scale, it can be put into the observational science side. And when that happens, the people who deny it do one of two things. Either they were like, oh well, you still can't prove everything else, or they go and they completely deny it until you show them right in front of their eyes that we can observe this shit happening. And then they just default to the first one after that. So, historical science, observable science, it's all proven by facts. It is all proven by facts. They just split those up because they like to put evolution and natural selection into that historical science category, even though we've proven that it's possible based on observable science. But they're like, nope, the small thing doesn't equal the big thing.
You were not there to see when it originally happened. Now, I have a question for you, though. If you're paying attention to my definition, this picture on the right here, is this an example of archaeology? Yes or no? Shout it out.
Yes.
No. Why? Let's think about it.
What? Why is she trying to disprove archaeology when the title of this video is How Modern Archaeology Confirms the Bible? How is it confirming the Bible if it's not true? Oh my god, these people are fucking morons.
Let's talk this through. This is an example of paleontology. Remember I said it has to be ancient man, related in some way, right?
Nope. Nope. It's not just ancient man. Could be 1,000 years ago, could be 100 years ago, could be 300 years ago, none of which are ancient. 100 years ago, that's just the 1900s. You could uncover something that was buried during, like, World War I. Uncover that, it tells a story of what happened during World War I. That is archaeology.
So this is a fossilized fish. So this would be a paleontologist would be dealing with something like this. Now, what about this picture? Is this archaeology?
Yes.
Absolutely. It can be a building, it can be a road, it can be pottery, it can be bones. Now, if I find fish bones that humans have eaten, that's archaeology too. You see the connection there? So don't get an archaeologist and a paleontologist confused. We're not quite the same. Sometimes our fields overlap in certain things, but in general we're very different and we deal with different things.
I'm confused. Is she a paleontologist or an archaeologist? Because if she's an archaeologist, why is she trying to debunk her own field? But if she is a paleontologist, how is she a creationist? Because with paleontology, you're studying, like, sometimes you're studying creatures that died millions of years ago. That does not fit with the creationist timeline. Let's Google her for a second. My cat is going AWOL in the background. Oh my god. Let's see. This presentation, East answers. Corey East. Corey East. Let's get this out of here. Corey East. Corey East is an education specialist with answers in Genesis and uses this position to share her passion for archaeology. So what, is she an amateur archaeologist or something? Why is she trying to debunk the field then? 3-hour explore program. Corey East profiles. Corey East Facebook. Corey East Instagram. Facebook again. So nowhere here does it show her actual qualifications. Does Answers in Genesis say her qualifications? graduating with her bachelor's, she began working at the Creationist Museum while waiting. Wait. Her journey began with her passion for biblical languages when she took Hebrew through the Hebrew University of Jerusalem and Greek through Bryan College. To fine-tune her communication skills, she completed her bachelor's in liberal arts with a focus on classical studies. So nowhere did she get any sort. Oh wait, great work has offered a great opportunity to work towards a master's in archaeology. Wait, graduating with a bachelor's. In Hebrew to better equip herself when studying scripture. Study of the Hebrew language. To Israel, where she completed her master's in Jerusalem. After completing her degree, she returned to the States. Master's in Archaeology from the Hebrew University of Jerusalem. Hebrew. God damn, my fat fingers. Hebrew University of Jerusalem. He has climbed 5 places this year. There we go, the wiki page. Hebrew University of Jerusalem is a public research university based in Jerusalem, Israel, co-founded by Albert Einstein and okay. Public university officially opened in April 1945. It is the second oldest Israeli university, having been founded 30 years before the reestablishment. Butchered that is secular. Let's see. Corey East. Let's see. Corey East. Qualifications. Classical studies. Hebrew University of Jerusalem. Okay, so I guess she is an archaeologist. Whoops. Here we go. But why is she trying to dismantle the field and say that none of it is true if she has a master's in it?
So, good job. Like, there's a clarification there. But why does archaeology and even paleontology fall under historical science? Well, it's because none of us were there when the fish was fossilized or when the humans used the...
Yeah, but you should know that you can still test things. You can still test things that you weren't there to actually witness.
These vessels that they made. For example, these vessels here on the table, we dig them up and these happen to be complete. This one's from the time of Abraham and this one over here is from the time of Christ. It's a cooking pot. And we can look at them and make observations, but then you might sit here and go, well, why do they have these little holes in the handles? Their fingers don't fit in those. We don't know how they used them in particular, but we can, make educated guesses. Maybe they looped rope through it and they hung it on something. So we have to interpret what we find because none of us were there.
She's saying this in such vague terms, as if you can't be, as if an educational guess upon what those little holes were used for isn't reliable. Well, if you looked at them in situ, that's a fucking archaeology term, it just means that they're in their original context. If you look at them in situ and you see rope is around it, if you see that there are rope fibers around where you dug up the pot, you can probably make a educated guess that they strung rope through the little potholes. Now, that is by no means concrete, but if you found rope fibers near a bunch of these pots, it would back up the original claim, because why else would there be ropes next to all of these pots that have a similar feature? You don't you don't prove something. You fail to disprove it. That's what science is based around.
There at that time when they used them to actually know 100% for sure what they used them for, and even the traditions that are associated with it. So it would fall under historical science. Now I'm going to give you a little example. I need your help. You're going to shout it out yes or no. I'm going to put a picture up there, and you're going to think critically and work through if you think observational or historical science is happening. You ready? Are these men practicing observational or historical science?
They are practicing observational science because they can actively see where the joints line up, and so they can actually recreate what the other parts of the skeleton are. You don't actively have the other parts, but with what we know from other skeletons, which let me paint a picture for my viewers here. So you know that thing I said earlier about finding rope fibers near the pots, and you could make an educated guess. Now, that already is a pretty solid educational guess. Now imagine you have 100 different other reasons for thinking that they strung rope through the pot, through the holes in the handle of the pot. Imagine you have 100 different reasons, all backing each other up, all backing up that theory. You would need to actively have evidence that disproves all 100 different pieces of evidence. You would have to have enough evidence to disprove those 100 reasons that back up that theory. Do you understand? Do you understand how much evidence to the contrary you'd need for that? The reason why we know how whatever skeleton this is when it was living, do you want to know how we know whether it was walking on four legs or two? You want to know how we know that? Because we have hundreds, thousands of other fossils that show us exactly how the joints would be connected in a way that it would be walking upright or on four legs. We know because we have hundreds, thousands of skeletons that back that up. What is your evidence for believing that whatever skeleton this is was walking on four legs? Oh, all you have is we weren't there to witness it? Well, it sounds like you don't know either way because you weren't there to witness it. But we have thousands of other skeletons that we can look at and we can see how this skeleton would have walked. Historical science is based around observational science conclusions.
Got it out. Ooh, very good, very good. Sometimes I hear like historical, it can get a little confusing. So let's talk through this. You might think, well, they're observing the skeleton with their eyes.
I got something for you. Because those the way the legs connect to the pelvis and the way the arm bones connect to the shoulder bones, those are two very big what's the word? Very big signs as to how this particular species walked. If we had the skull, that'd be one too. Because if the skull has the hole for the spine on the bottom of the skull, chances are it was a upright walking creature. And if it's on the back, chances are it was a four-legged creature. And I know I'm really, really butchering the science, but dude, we can make conclusions based on what we have. Now, the amount of what we have will most likely determine how accurate the conclusion is, but we have hundreds of skeletons in most of the species we've uncovered. And with that, we pretty much have uncovered, the main species before human, the main species that are our ancestors. We have thousands, millions even, of actual skeletal remains. Well, they're probably fossils, but the structure is how we can tell that. Anyways, I'm going to stop rambling because I realize I've been rambling for a while now.
Observational science, right? That's what you're thinking.
Dear God. Have I been rambling for 30 fucking minutes? Dear Lord.
Question, brownie points. Does anybody know whose skeleton this is? Oh, Lucy, you get all the brownies, sir. Good job, good job. Yes, this is Lucy's skeleton. And while it might be confusing to say, well, they're observing it with their eyes, therefore it's observational science, you all were correct, and you picked up at, no, they're actually practicing historical science. Why? Because if you see in their thought bubbles, they're in...
Okay. So, the reason why Lucy in particular has a name, why that skeleton is so famous, is because it's the first one that we found. You understand that, right? It's the first of the species that we found. We've found more of the same species since then. We've found more. Even with what is there, what is right there, based on other species, which we know whether they walked, on 4 legs or on 2 legs, based on what their skeletons look like, we can make an educated conclusion as to how this skeleton in particular walked. You understand that? Because we have more evidence backing up even the evidence.
Interpreting what they see in front of them. And the man on the left says, oh, this was an ancient, maybe bipedal primate-like creature that might be related to humankind in some form or fashion on our ancestral tree. And the man on the right goes, nope, it's just an ancient primate. That's all it is.
We are primates. Humans are primates. Oh my god. Humans are primates. And the difference between this scene and an actual, compared to actual scientists checking the skeleton out in a lab, is these are just 2 guys speculating. The scientists have actually learned from other skeletons about what characteristics in joints and whatnot show how something walks.
Those are very different conclusions to the same skeleton that's laying there in front of them. Why does this happen? Well, if you've also been to our museum, you've probably come across this term. It's because of a worldview. What is a worldview? It's the lenses.
It's not because of a worldview. Oh my god. Oh yeah, you know what? I'm gonna disprove this and then I'm gonna end this video because it's gone on for long enough. Everything she's said. Well, maybe not everything. Maybe she was right about that skeleton being Lucy. But almost everything she's said has been completely wrong. Like, completely wrong. It's not because of a worldview. Maybe the reason why you think that it's just some random monkey is because of your bullshit-ass worldview. But that's not how real scientists, it's not how actual scientists in the field make their conclusions. They make their conclusions based on the evidence. I am fucking shocked that this person has a master's in archaeology, because let me just Forest Valakai education. He has a bachelor's degree in biology. Let's see, does he have educator, activist, content creator, and science communicator who teaches science lessons online. He uses his platform to promote skepticism and passion and share his love of life with audience of all ages. So, this guy is a person I look up to. And he has a master's of arts and anthropology. I want, like, just a list of his. has a master's and a bachelor's, both of which pertain to literally what this woman was talking about. And I'd say he's definitely more of an authority figure on the subject. And yeah, so from what I've learned from his videos, this is bullshit. This is bullshit. Anyways, I have this again. I saw somebody subscribed. Somebody subscribed and commented. And the issue is that this number hasn't gone up. And I know they subscribed recently because it said when I read the thing like a few days ago that they were publicly subscribed for a week. And this is the last month. So I'm kind of disappointed that YouTube is not letting my subscriber count go up. I've even refreshed this too. But it's just 9 for some stupid reason. Anyways, I'm gonna end the video here. Watch some of my other videos. I think I got the audio fixed. I think the audio in this video should be fine.